Today I'll be teaching you about CPR indicator and I'll explain why it is one of the most favorite indicators among plenty of the best traders in the world. The best part of CPR indicator is it can be used along with any other indicator or strategy you already use. It simply just helps in improving the accuracy of your strategy. I will show you how I'll be using it along with vwap, and as you can see I've got beautiful trades with which I've earned 4 to 5% in my intraday trade. But before I get to that, let me show you what is CPR and how to use CPR indicator. First, let's add the indicator. Now this indicator is available in 0DA, but you can only use it if you enable chart IQ. To do that, click here, go to my profile, and in settings select chart IQ. Now in studies I'll type central pivot range, which is CPR. You will notice 3 lines would appear with a pink shaded area. This entire shaded area is the CPR zone, also known as range. And this is formed based on the previous day where the price has spent most of its time. As you can see, most of the trading happened in this area, and hence the next day the range is formed here at the same place where most of the previous day trades took place. Now let's see how we can use this range to form beautiful strategies. Alright, this is what you'll do. If the candle closes above the CPR, it has a bullish bias, which means it is likely to go up. And if the candle closes below the CPR, it has a bearish bias. It is more likely to go down. As you can see here, it closes above the CPR and it goes for an upward trend. Again the next day it closes above, it goes for an upward trend. And after this the next day it closes below and goes for a downward trend. Now the bullish or bearish bias alone isn't sufficient to rely on. There are plenty of times in spite of closing above, it goes down, and in spite of closing below, it goes up. So in order to get a better accuracy, we set 5 simple conditions, and only when it fulfills these 5 conditions, we will trade. So the first condition I've already mentioned is if it closes above, it has a bullish bias, and if it closes below, it has a bearish bias. Now the second condition, it should be a trending day. As you can see here in the chart, from the past couple of days Bajaj Finance has been going up and it clearly has the upward trend. So if you spot the past few days to look like this, it would make an ideal day to use this strategy. Whereas if the past few days are sideways and it looks like this, CPR strategy won't work very well. Another way to spot a trending day is, if we look in the 15 minutes chart, the CPR looks like steps that goes up. Here's the first step, and the next step is higher, and then higher and higher. As you can see in all of these trending days, the strategy has worked brilliantly. Next condition, the opening price of the day should be either above or below the CPR and not on the CPR. If it opens on the CPR, it's most likely to go sideways. Here you can see it opened in the range and it continued sideways. It might close a little above or below the range, but the chances of a trending day would be very low. Now the fourth condition, you don't take a trade when it's in between the range. If it has a bullish bias, you buy when it's above the range, and if it has a bearish bias, you take the trade when it's below the range. So basically avoid taking trades when they are between the range. As you can see, whenever it's in between the range, it usually goes sideways. And finally the last condition, a stock that closes above the range, which means it has a bullish bias, can become bearish if there are big red candles formed that are crossing the range. Similarly, a bearish bias can become bullish too if there are big green candles crossing the range. If the candles are small, it will probably just return back. Only if the candles are big, it will continue going across. So that's for it. Use these 5 conditions in any of your trade and your winning accuracy will dramatically increase. I'll show you some examples. It might seem a little complicated now, but I'm sure once you try, you will realize how simple it is. Alright, let's look at some examples. As you can see, Torrent Pharma is on an upward trend, and if you take a trade on this day, you will notice it closes above the range, which means it has a bullish bias, and that confirms the upward trend is going to continue. So you wait for the candles to move away from the CPR. Here you get a nice confirmation at 2628 and it goes all the way till the end. You can exit after you see the big red candle, which is at 2728. That's exactly 100 points, and that is almost 5%. Now before I show you more wonderful examples, there is something really important you should know. The main purpose of CPR is not just a strategy, but the main purpose of CPR is it saves you from taking the wrong trade. As you can see here in Balkrishna stock, it closes above the range, which means it has a bullish bias. But for someone who doesn't know about CPR, they would see these 3 strong and big red candles and they would take a short trade. But since you know it has a bullish bias, you will wait for it to go up and then take the trade. The profits after you get the confirmation isn't much, but at least it saves you from taking the wrong trade. Again here, the next day, if we remove the CPR, a person who doesn't know about CPR would take a trade here after seeing plenty of these red candles, but would fail. But since we know, according to the 4th condition, we are not supposed to trade when the price is in between the range, it would save us from taking the wrong trade. Now let's get back to the strategy part. I'll show you some examples. Let's say you notice Torrent Pharma was having a downward trend from the past 4 days, and hence it fulfills the condition of a trending day, and you take your trade on the 5th day. Now here you can see it closed below the range, which means it has a bearish bias. That basically confirms the downward trend is going to continue. So you wait for it to leave the range. Here these 3 candles move away from the range, but it has a long wick, which isn't a proper confirmation, so you wait. Here you get a nice strong confirmation and you take the trade, and it goes on for the rest of the day. Again it continues the next day as well. Closes below the range, so you wait for the candle to move away from the range. Here it moves away, but it still has a long wick on both the sides, so you won't take the trade. Here you see a big red candle, which is a nice strong confirmation. So you take the trade and takes a nice big fall until you see a big green candle, which is a reversal candle, so you can exit here. Now the CPR indicator works brilliantly, but is at best when it's combined with another indicator. I use the vwap indicator. You can use any indicator of your choice. So when I add the vwap, here you can see I get my confirmation once the candle moves away from the vwap line as well as the range. In this way the confirmation is even stronger. And the next day I do the same thing, get my confirmation here as it moves away from the range and vwap. So you enter here. With the vwap your confirmation might be a little late, but at least you are sure. So you enter and take home the big profits. Alright, that's for it. I upload plenty of amazing strategies that would take your trading game to the next level, and many more videos coming soon. So if you like this video, please do give a like. It would be a strong motivation for me to make many more amazing videos. Also do subscribe so you don't miss on any of the mind-blowing strategies coming soon.